Modern cycling is obsessed with aerodynamics, efficiency, and shaving off seconds. But at the bottom of the world, there is an environment that violently rejects the very idea of speed. When Ferdinand Magellan's expedition wintered here in 1520, they reported encountering native people so massive, the European sailors only reached their waists. The giants were a myth, but the name Magellan's crew gave them, Patagones, stuck. Ever since, Patagonia has been a place sitting at the absolute edge of the map. Patagonia spills across the southern tip of South America, Chile to the west, Argentina to the east, stitched together by the spine of the Andes. In cross-section, this mountain wall dictates the weather. Wet Pacific air dumps rain on the Chilean side, leaving Argentina bone dry. Riding here means navigating a world that shifts from drenched rainforest to moon-like desert in the span of a single border crossing. It is this absolute geographic contrast that sets the stage for one of the most demanding rides on the planet. The journey begins in the north, on the Chilean side, along the Carretera Austral. Riders thread their way through impossibly green temperate rainforests, past hanging glaciers and ancient trees. But the history of this route is dark. Beginning in the late 1970s, it was hacked through wilderness by 10,000 soldiers operating under the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. They carved much of it by hand because heavy machinery couldn't reach the bogs and cliffs. Pushing further south, the pavement simply gives up. It turns into ripio, a loose washboard gravel that shakes a loaded bike to its core. The riding gets harder, the towns get smaller, and the physical toll compounds. The brutal construction and bone-rattling surface of the Carretera Austral set a baseline of physical effort, and that is before cyclists even reach the true wilderness. The pavement eventually runs out completely at the town of Villa O'Higgins. Here, riders face the border crossing into Argentina. You can't drive it. There is no road. It is open only to those traveling on foot or by bike. Cyclists have to haul heavy, loaded bikes through a literal no-man's land. They drag their gear through mud-choked trenches, over exposed tree roots, and across freezing rivers, sometimes needing 3 hours to cover just 6 kilometers. But once you finally cross into Argentina and connect with Ruta 40, the claustrophobic rainforest abruptly vanishes. The world flattens out into an empty, seemingly endless, bone-dry steppe. Punctuating this empty horizon are massive granite towers. These sharp, theatrical rock formations act as colossal geographical markers, dwarfing everything around them. And then there's the ice. The dry rock of the steppe contrasts sharply with massive local anomalies like the Perito Moreno Glacier, a solid wall of blue ice 5 kilometers wide, towering over 70 meters above the lake below. Surviving the transition between these two countries reveals a landscape of beautiful, terrifying extremes. It is an environment seemingly designed to make humans feel incredibly small. While the scenery is monumental, every single day on the bike is defined by the relentless force of the wind. This animation illustrates the Roaring Forties. Between the 40 and 50 degrees southern latitudes, westerly winds circle the globe completely unobstructed by landmasses. With nothing to slow them down, these winds average 22 miles per hour, but gusts routinely spike to 180 kilometers per hour. That is enough force to physically lift a hiker and their gear clean off the ground. For a cyclist, the wind dictates everything. A headwind can reduce a fit rider to 5 hours of grinding just to cover 30 kilometers. But the exact same stretch, with the wind at their back, can be cleared in 90 minutes. You cannot conquer this weather. You can only negotiate with it, planning your direction and your timing around a force that has been roaring here for thousands of years. Deep in the south, daily life strips down to the absolute basics. Riders ration scarce food because the next shop is days away. They filter their water to avoid giardia spread by local beaver populations. And they routinely weather 4 distinct seasons: sun, rain, snow, and sun again, all before lunch. Yet moving at a bicycle's pace allows riders to witness the wildlife inhabiting these vast distances, like the massive Andean condor, riding the thermal currents on a 3-meter wingspan. Survival out here often depends on a sparse human community. Cyclists find water and shelter at historic, remote ranches, waving down the local gauchos who still work the steppe. Eventually, the road stops at Ushuaia. It began in the 1880s as a harsh penal colony, but today it serves as the literal finish line, the southmost city in the world, sitting right where the continent runs out into the ocean. The wind will stall your progress, and the gravel will rattle your gear, but the emptiness offers a scale of silence that's hard to find anywhere else. You eventually realize that the goal isn't to fight the landscape, but to learn how to move with it.